When we finally decide to make a decision in life, we find ourselves needing reasons to ensure that we are making the correct decision. And luckily for you, when you're considering Spanaway, Washington, I'm going to give you the top 5 reasons to consider to move to this location. The reasons I'm going to give you in this video are really going to assist you in making sure that you're making the correct decision. Everything from real estate options, safety, and even quality of life, because we have to consider how happy we're going to be if we're going to be living in this new area. My name is George Rodriguez with eXp Realty, and allow me a few moments today to be your realtor. The first reason I'm going to bring up is going to be the quality of life, because we have to talk about the quality of how you're going to be feeling when you're living in this location. I bring this up at the beginning because the quality of life you're going to have in Spanaway is be very different in comparison to your neighbors in Tacoma, and also if you want to think of Seattle as well. The reason being is if when you're further away from the city, you're going to have a nice, calm, peaceful type of lifestyle in comparison and being closer to the city suburbs. When living in Spanaway, you do get more of the aura of the Pacific Northwest. The further you get away from Seattle and Tacoma, you're getting away from the city. So the less and more developed areas. Now, Spanaway has definitely grown over the last 5 to 10 years, but when you are getting closer to Graham, for example, you are going to get more of that wilderness that's presented when you're actually able to look out your backyard and see Mount Rainier. When you remove yourself from the city limits, you are removing yourself from the progressive thinking, and that's often presented by living in Washington or living within the city areas. Now, the further away you get, the less more progressive mindset is going to be presented and actually, I want to say, hovering over you in comparison when you do live closer to those areas. So this can be considered another portion of quality of life if you are trying to kind of remove yourself to a more quiet domain that's often presented within Spanaway. The next reason is going to be safety. Now, the reason why I bring this up is this can be one of the more safer areas located within Pierce County. Overall, when it does come to Washington, Pierce and King County have the highest crime rates overall in the state. And of course, when you look at the neighboring counties, of course, everything drops off like we're just falling off the little waterfall here. But overall, let's take a look at what Spanaway presents. When you are taking a look at the map, the darker blue areas are going to be the more higher crime rate areas. And then when you get to the lighter, the safer sides, this is overall where it's going to be a little more safer. Now, as we go down in terms of crime analytics, the Spanaway crime data shows that this is ranked safer than 12% of US neighborhoods. And then when taking a look overall in its annual crimes, the number of crimes 992 with a crime rate of 27.96 per 1,000 residents. As we go down further, we see right here, this is basically on par with the averages on the entire state of Washington, and that's something I want you to pay very close attention to. Now, it's ranked 3.61 to 3.36 overall and per 1,000 residents. Now, as we go down here, you can just see that the violent crime ranks is going to be at 1 and 277, with Washington 1 and 298. Now, when looking at neighboring areas of Tacoma and also Puyallup, these are going to be a little bit higher in terms of what you're going to be facing in terms of the potential of having a crime incident occur to you. The reason why I bring up safety, because oftentimes when we're deciding to live in a new area, we overlook the possibility of crime happening. But when you're taking a look at the statistics of Pierce County and honestly comparing anything around it, Spanaway is going to be beating them by leaps and bounds in terms of the possibility of crime occurring. So safety in terms of its neighbors is what's going to make honestly Spanaway more attractive if honestly crime is going to be something that you're going to be worried about. The next reason is going to be the real estate options that's presented by living within Spanaway. In this area, the reason why I say there's a ton of options is because with your family size, whether you be small or big, they're going to have the type of property for you at a decent price point in comparison to its neighbors. When you're living within Spanaway, your property sizes often tend to be a little bit larger in comparison to its neighbors in Tacoma. You get a bigger lot size and oftentimes you get a bigger property for your money. And that's oftentimes found when you're living further away from the city, which is another pro of the type of real estate options that are often given. In Spanaway, you're going to find often that there's a lot of new construction in the area just due to the undeveloped land that is going to be here in Spanaway. So that often gives a lot of families the opportunity to have that brand new type of construction home that you won't find in your neighboring areas. This is what makes Spanaway real estate very different in comparison to its neighbors, because they have the type of homes to accommodate what you may potentially be looking for. A lot of times in this day and age of what we are purchasing as buyers or sellers here in this marketplace, our homes are too close to each other and our homes have too small of lots. And that's often what's found in new construction, but here in Spanaway, you are given a little bit more property in comparison to what you're going to be finding in your neighboring areas. So if this sounds very beneficial to you, then this may be a good option for real estate if you're going to decide to purchase here within the state. Overall, in the Spanaway marketplace, the average median sale price is going to be sitting at $485,000 with an average day on market sitting at 6 days. But oftentimes you can find yourself something that does meet within your price range, as new construction is going going to be getting at around 500,000. And of course, they are going to have several other options sitting at 6 to 700 and beyond that, if that's going to be within your price range. Now, if you find yourself gathering a lot of information to actually assist you moving forward, well, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Also leave a comment down below if you have a location that you would like me to do some top reasons for. And of course, I'll give you a shout out in the next video. To continue on with more reasons for Spanaway, it's going to be the close proximity to Joint Base Lewis-McChord that you are going to be when you're living within Spanaway. Now, I know this mainly applies to military service members that are stationed on JBLM, but when you are living within Spanaway, you have numerous amounts of back roads to get on the installation, but also if you need to get onto the main gate from Spanaway, it's going to take you around 15 to 18 minutes. Now, I know it's mainly dependent on traffic, but overall, when you are living in Spanaway, you have a ton of options for real estate that allow you the opportunity to not only rent, but also purchase if that is within your desires to continue on and living within the area. Overall, Spanaway does have a high military and civil service member population, so it is very high chance that you may have one of those individuals that are serving are going to be living within your neighborhood, so it does add another level of mystique when you are living within this area. So with all these reasons, we have to think about how are we going to spend time with ourselves, spend time with our family. Well, we have a few things in Spanaway to offer you, just like the Spanaway Park, as well as Spanaway Golf Course. If you need to get out there and get your Phil Mickelson, your little Tiger Woods on, you have that opportunity out here. Then you have Sprinkler Recreation, and they offer a lot of activities for children, as well as adults if you're trying to get down to. They have the ice rink, the ice bumper cars. They have the sports recreation teams for kids' Little League games. So there is some opportunities in terms of community aspect to actually get outside, but overall, Pacific Northwest, this is going to be the creme de la creme for the outdoors. You have all the hikes around the area, so if you are trying to get out, you're going to have that opportunity when you're living in Spanaway. So don't think you're going to be missing out on any activities because it's out there. You're going to have some fun.